Welcome. My name is Doreen Milano, and you are listening to Big Ideas, Small Business. Small business has been having a really rough time lately, so I've started this program so that we could talk to some of the other business owners in the area to really understand what they're doing to stay in front of the curve. Today, we're going to talk to Lazaro Alvarez, and he created the Irving Marathon. So let's talk to Lazaro and let's see what he's up to.
You're tuned in to Big Ideas, Small Business with Doreen Milano. Doreen brings energy, focus, and creativity with the most cutting-edge tools and systems needed to grow business, drive profits, and achieve dreams. Ready to rise? Here's your host, Doreen Milano.
Welcome, Lazaro.
Well, thank you for having me here, Doreen. It's a pleasure, and thank you for thinking of us for this special.
So tell me, why the Irving Marathon? What was the inspiration behind that?
It's from childhood, I would say. I came to the United States when I was 13 years old from El Salvador to Austin Middle School in Irving, where I ran track. Then in high school, at Irving High School, I ran track as well. Later on, I got a scholarship to go down by San Antonio at Schreiner University, and they did not have a track or cross-country team. And we worked it out to where the next year there was a cross-country team. So I kept running through college. Shortly after graduating, I was back in Irving, and I was working full-time. And at the time, I was doing triathlons and marathons. And I don't know if you remember back in 2011, Campion Trail had just finished, and a lot of the parks in the area were just getting finished, but there wasn't anybody running on them. So a lot of times when I would go on a long run for the weekend or whatnot, I would be running for maybe 2 hours and I wouldn't see a single person along the trail. So
Wow.
I got a couple of my friends from high school together, and we ran the idea, and we decided to start the Irving Marathon as a way to give back to the community, but also to attract people, to be out there doing outdoor activities, and also to promote the city itself. And Las Colinas is a beautiful area, and I think a lot of the running community had been missing out from enjoying that. So that was the inspiration behind it, but also the charity part, which is raising money and awareness towards childhood obesity. And that's kind of how the idea got started,
That is great. So when we're talking about the Irving Marathon and everything that you're doing in the community, the question comes up for me is, why did you choose to be an LLC instead of a nonprofit?
Sure. And, I get that question a lot. I've seen different organizations. I studied political science and international business in college. And for about 10 years, I spent every month I would read 2 books, either whether it be biographies, business books, psychology, or just different areas of where I could get knowledge about business and the community and how to build what we have done now. I wanted to run this company as a business. I have seen the previous, all the other running organizations that are out there, most of them are operated as a nonprofit, and I'm not saying that that's a bad model. It works for them, and it's gotten to where there's a big running community. But I wanted to do things a little bit different. I did not want to create the same kind of race that was out there for the general population. So in order to do that, I felt that I needed to have a little more control of what we're doing in the operation. So there's not a reason why running an organization cannot be set up as an LLC and still have a charity aspect. The way that we divide our company is that we are donating 20% of everything that we bring in, whether it be when it comes to sponsorships, we donate 20% of that off the bat to the Barely Scott and White Irving Foundation. And then at the end of the year, we also donate 20% of whatever is left. What we found with nonprofits is that there's the message is it benefits XYZ organization, but in reality, at the end of the time, that contribution tends to be a lot less, because it's run as a nonprofit and not as a business. So we're able to retain a lot more, do things a lot quicker, and that's what's gotten us to where we are at in a fast track to grow. And eventually in the next 5 years, we want Irving to become the preferred running location in North Texas for everybody.
That's a great goal.
Yeah.
So, as a business owner, you have chosen a lot of very specific things to build your business to be a community focused business.
You got it.
And in doing so, you are able to now give back to that community. That is a great lesson for business owners everywhere, that if we start engaging in the community and giving back to the community, it can be an amazing thing.
It can. It can.
So, what is the one lesson that you learned in developing this?
Well, the main thing is, I met you through Rotary,
Right.
Right? So, we like to operate with the four-way test, right? So, what I found is that if we truly have the community's interest and we operate our business with that type of integrity, where, as I mentioned, we donate 20% and it's there on the records so that people can see the actual numbers, right? Instead of this is benefiting that. So we like to operate with integrity. And as a result, the community has seen that we truly care about what we're doing. And we set out to build something that it didn't exist in the community. And we did it with the purpose of bringing the community together. So as a result, because we want to operate with integrity, we have the community in mind at first, and we're doing something that benefits everybody entirely. The community just has been able to see that through the proper marketing that we've implemented. And we can go, I'll go over a little more in detail on some of the things that we've done behind the scenes to ensure that the community is seeing the progress that we're doing along the way. And as a result, they had more people are joining the movement. That's actually our tagline for the Irving Marathon is Irving Marathon, join the movement. And it's been a very successful tagline. Or hashtags is join the movement, run Irving. Very simple, and that's all you need. So, like I said, the communities come together because they see that it's built for them by somebody from the community.
So let's talk about how business comes to the Irving Marathon. How does business benefit in partnering with the Irving Marathon?
Yeah, so this year alone, we've seen a tremendous growth from participants. Last year, last year we only had the Irving Marathon, which was one event. So since 2013, when we started this, there was only one event. It was in the spring, the Irving Marathon, and which attracted anywhere between 1,500 to 2,500 runners. As I mentioned a minute ago, our goal is for Irving to become the preferred running location in North Texas.
Right.
It would have taken a long time to achieve that with the current way that we're operating. So last summer, I had the idea to add 6 more running events to create the Irving Marathon running series, right? And so we have 7 events. We have December's Irving Frost. So between Irving Frost and the Irving Marathon in 2019, we had about 3,100 participants.
Wow.
And then in 2020, despite COVID, we're almost at 5,500 registered participants through the Irving Marathon running series. So how do businesses benefit? Well, we do a lot of marketing to attract those people. So sponsors get, if you become a sponsor or a partner with the Irving Marathon, your logo is displayed all over our website. The last 12 months trending, the last 12 months to date, we've had over 600,000 visitors to our website just because of our engagement with the community and our marketing strategies that we've implemented to get people to, one, join the movement and run Irving.
Now stop a second. Yeah. 600,000 visitors to your website. Yeah. That is amazing. Now, if we could all, as business owners, get that kind of result, oh my goodness. Yeah. That would be a totally landmark deal. Yeah,
and there's a lot of factors that go into that. We've spent all day on the level of marketing that we've done to get us there. I adopted a strategy to last summer along building an Irving Marathon running series. I figured I'm not the best creative, but I'm also not. When it comes to branding, I needed to get help, right? So then we brought in an in-house ad agency that rebranded us, that taught us how to have better marketing strategies that now we're implementing. So because we took that chance, we took that risk of doing that, it worked, right? And we're seeing the results now. But it was a risk that we did. There's never been a running series in Irving, and there's never been 6 of them put together at the same time. And then COVID came, but because we took those risks, when COVID came about, also we were able to switch to virtual, which is a new industry
I wanted to
that
ask
we
you
created.
about that.
Yeah.
What is a virtual marathon?
Sure. So virtual marathon. So it's funny that we actually started the virtual running option in the December event back in 2019, way before all of this happened. We actually sold 20 virtual units that were shipped. So the way it works for the virtual running is you sign up for the race. You're able to do the race anywhere that you want to, whether it be in a treadmill, in a park. You time it, and then we have a live leaderboard that you then submit your results. And then you're able to see how you did with anybody who signed up for that event. We take the honor system, which runners, if you know runners, most runners are going to be very honest,
right.
And we do care about our time, so there's no issue there. But what we do as a running organization is we ship the items that you would originally get at race day, like the medal, the running shirt, the bib, running bag, all the items that you would have gotten. We call it swag.
Right.
We ship it to you, and then you do the race, you submit your results, and that's a virtual run. Like gyms, right? If you pay for something, you're probably going to be committed to completing it. Running a race and signing up for a race serves the same purpose. So once you commit to something, it's easier for you to get up every morning and go run. So that's why keeping a virtual option, despite COVID and not being able to have events, it's helped the running community to, keep running, despite everything that's been going on. But that was something that, like I said, we started back in December. We sold 20 units. Our next event was February 14. We did a Valentine's team event. We sold about 45 units then. And then St. Patrick's, that was our next event in March 14th. That event got canceled the day before the event also happened. So we already had about 700 people registered for that event. And because of our work that we had done in the previous event, we were able to quickly, pretty much the next day, start shipping their packages and turn it into a virtual. And we already had the concept, and a lot of our people were familiar with it. So then we were the first marathon to cancel as well. So we had St. Patrick's the 14th of March, and then March 28th, we had the Irving Marathon with over 2,000 people already registered as well, which a lot of our participants were already familiar with the concept. We adapted that, we made that a thing, and then, we were the first ones to do it. So almost every single other event across the nation, if not the world, follow the same principle that we use for the virtual. And now the Boston Marathon is being run in September as a virtual option using the exact same parameters that we instill back in March.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Everybody, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to find out what goes on behind the scenes of the Irving Marathon. So join us in a couple minutes. Thank you.
At Work Suites, get back to work your way. Business addresses, co-working, executive office suites. We really thrive on helping small businesses expand their horizons from simply working out of their home. What's really nice is we're flexible with our terms. We don't require you to sign a lease with us, go month to month, or stay a couple years. You may only need a part-time space. You'll have a full kitchen, covered garage access. This is the ideal way to work through the transition in your business and get you up to speed quickly. Private offices have dedicated Wi-Fi, furniture, 24/7 access. Call 888-445-9675 and check us out at worksuites.com to schedule your tour. You're going to love it here. 888-445-9675.
Welcome back. We're talking to Lazaro, and we're talking about the Irving Marathon, and we're going to jump into what happens behind the scenes. What is the backstory behind the business? So Lazaro, I know that the Irving Marathon has been around for a while, but it hasn't been around in the configuration that currently exists. So can you give us a little bit of history there?
Yeah, so Like I mentioned at the beginning, my best friend and I, Ronnie Chesko, went to Austin Middle School, Irving High School, and we did a lot of things together. And we founded the Irving Marathon together. And then after the first year, I went away and I had a full-time job and I had a lot of things going on. So he ran the event until 2018, and at the end of 2018, I resumed again the Irving Marathon and took full control back. And what we wanted to do was to implement a different way of doing events than what was traditionally seen out there. We were also very fortunate at the time that Toyota Music Factory had just finished construction. A lot of the different areas in Las Colinas are also finishing that development. So I saw that as an opportunity to create a new blueprint on creating a new running experience, a new race day experience, right? So with Toyota Music Factory, for example, being centrally located in DFW, doesn't matter if you live in Rockwall or Fort Worth, it takes about the same time to get there. The venue is made for concerts. As a matter of fact, it's the #1 concert venue in the United States, #2 in the world. So very efficient process, right? So why not use it for running as well? So with it, our participants can park there at the venue, literally just walk out, as opposed to whenever a race gets done like in a park or in a city center. Parking is, a mess and all that. Also, the area is beautiful, it's very flat, but it also has hills. So we're able to, at different races, have a race with hills, one, a flat course, especially the Irving Marathon serves as a Boston Marathon qualifier, for example. So we have to date, since we started, we've had people come from over 20 countries to run the Irving Marathon.
Oh, that's great.
Since all over the world, come to the Irving Marathon because it's a Boston Marathon qualifier, and it happens to be next to DFW, and it's a flat course, so it's a lot easier to qualify. So with that, like you're asking me what happens behind the scene, right? So another thing that we brought in was the photos, right? So we give the runners photos. We actually partner with Reservoir, whose bar opens into the Texas Lottery Plaza. And they serve alcohol to our runners. So whenever you get done running, you're not having to go again to a makeshift bar. You're going to an actual bar being served beer by bartenders. So it makes it very easy for that experience. And likewise, we partner with a lot of other different companies there that make the race day experience a blast.
So a little shameless plug is a good thing, right? So who are some of those businesses that have sponsored you?
Sure. So, I call them partners. We have different, this is truly a community event, right? So what I like to operate is I want to bring partners together that make race day and the whole event, experience easier for not only the runners, but for us organizing it and then for them. So we partner with Nosh and Bottle, for example, at Toyota Music Factory, who provides any snacks that we want to. So after the races, we either have pancakes, we either have tacos, we either have different kinds of snacks that is catered by Nosh and Bottle for all the runners, which is wonderful. It's great for them because there's about 1,000 people or more that do our events, and they get to see, Nosh and Bottle. They get to taste their food, and it happens to be right there in the venue as well. Medical City Las Colinas has been a great sponsor for us for a very long time, and they help a lot. City, which is, they have a big headquarter in Irving.
Correct.
They have been very essential in volunteering.
How many volunteers do you need?
Depending on the race, so the smaller races, anywhere between 50 to 100. And then for the marathon, we needed anywhere between 200 to 300 volunteers. It's a big operation.
That's huge.
It's a huge operation. My fiance, Jacqueline Livingston, she's in charge of gathering all the volunteers and coordinating with all of them. But like I said, City's been very essential in that they have a very large workforce right there next to the place where the race takes place, and they're able to volunteer as well. So
now I have some inside information, and this is really important for our audience. How many times have you, as the owner of the Irving Marathon, had to go back and do startup mode to keep the Irving Marathon healthy and vibrant?
Well, almost every day. Give you an example, yesterday, one of our partners that we do business with, because of COVID, they're not around anymore. So then we had to go reinvent that wheel, yesterday, and we got it done already. So that's good. But COVID was a perfect example. As I mentioned, we had started to do virtual, but that was not gonna be. The intention was to grow that over time, right, and go that way. But because of COVID, well, we're not doing races anymore. Since March, we had 3 other events scheduled after that, and we haven't been able to have an in-person event. But we reinvented the virtual experience, and for that, we had to have a different team that took care of that, right? So no longer the team that I had together to organize in-person event. They did not have the same skills that I needed for a virtual experience, right? So
Got it.
We had to reinvent the wheel, but because of all of our relationship that we had built with our partners, it was easy to bring together the resources that we needed to pivot into virtual. And as a result, right now, for example, we have an Oktoberfest, which Oktoberfest is a new event that has never happened before. We already have over 350 people signed up for that event. Most of it is
it
virtual.
A running event or a drinking event?
It's a running event
Okay.
that you drink at the end.
Right.
So we had 350 people already sign up for that event, right? When right now nobody's advertising for races, nobody's doing, because we don't know when they're gonna come. But because we reinvented ourselves back in March, as soon as COVID hit, Oktoberfest, we were over 350 people signed up. We have a turkey trot as well on Thanksgiving. We're over 200 people signed up for that as well. And then Irving Frost, we're almost at 500 people registered for those events. Had we not reinvented ourselves back in March and started over again and just kept the mentality of, well, events are eventually going to come back, and that was our only approach, we wouldn't probably be having this conversation right now because, well, as you can notice, you need cash flow to keep a business going.
You do.
Right? And
it has to happen.
Without cash flow, it doesn't really matter. You can have the best ideas,
but it doesn't work.
It doesn't, charity, like I said, a lot of people look at running as a great way to raise money. It's not,
So out of this experience, Lazaro, what advice would you give to small business owners today?
Yeah. So, I've always been a fan of learning, right? So whenever you're not doing, like, for example, if your business has been affected right now by COVID and there's not much that you can do, the least thing that you can be doing right now is sharpening your own skills by reading books, right? By figuring out who is doing something that is in the same industry that you're doing and what it is that they're doing. Maybe not necessarily copy what they're doing, but get some ideas on how you can implement a similar process, right? Or, if you're not afraid of calling somebody, and a lot of people wouldn't mind sharing some ideas of, well, hey, how did you get that going? I've been stuck. I don't know how to make that transition. So you should never be too proud to learn again and say, well, this is not going to work for right now. Let me go this way. But then if you don't feel comfortable even doing that, and you need some advice, then just pick up the phone and call a fellow colleague or somebody that you might know. Or it doesn't even have to even be somebody that's in that same industry.
Correct.
There's a lot of business coaches. Yeah, there's a lot of business owners. I'm part of this organization called Entrepreneurs Organization. And it's a lot of business owners that are having successful businesses, and we meet, right? So, and what we do is we're all kind of the same process, but we have different businesses. But the same troubles that a company that is in the restaurant business is going to have the same staff issues as a company that is in the transportation business, because they're dealing with people.
It's all about people.
It's a lot about people. But I would encourage people to just reach out. If you can afford a business coach to help you, I would say reach out to somebody that you see that they are a successful business person and maybe get some ideas from them.
So Lazaro, how can people actually reach you?
Sure. So our website is irvingmarathon.com. There you can see all the events that we have available, but also, if somebody's interested in volunteering, we have a volunteer section on the website, irvingmarathon.com. If somebody's interested in becoming a partner and enjoying some of that exposure that we bring, whether it be in person or digital presence that we have up there, they can also look at our website, irvingmarathon.com, and look under the sponsorship page and be able to contact us.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
One of the things I want everybody to understand is that no matter what goes on in your business, you don't stop. You've got to keep moving forward. And whether that means that you take on learning, you pick up the phone and you call somebody like myself or Lazaro to really get an understanding of what's possible for you, do it today. Again, thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure having you with us, and I hope you learned something really great today.
This has been Big Ideas Small Business with Doreen Milano. Doreen Milano solves problems for small and mid-market family-owned businesses and service-based industries. To work with Doreen, go to visionstoexcellence.com. For guest and sponsorship information, call 650-483-5798. Big Ideas Small Business with Doreen Milano is produced by Offbeat Business Media for the OBBM Network. For OBBM Network programming information, call 214-714-0495. Unauthorized use of any part of Big Ideas Small Business with Doreen Milano without prior permission through the OBBM Network is strictly prohibited.